One of the most shared pages of the 2020 State of Gen Z that I wrote was this one, around how emojis to Gen Z have adopted a completely different set of meanings. In the deep subculture research that I did, I saw emojis become the vehicles for a lot of these deep, dated references, right? And to other people, what might seem like just a funny set of images online was actually the vehicle for these references. And if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. I think this is why it was such a exploding head moment for a lot of these folks on Twitter. And I think this doubles as a great precedent for how language evolves in subcultures. Let me add some more personal context to this. For one, I started the largest online sneaker reselling movement in Indonesia, and I'm in year 2 of running a avant-garde genderqueer fashion brand. For 2, I've done a lot of deep work in early stage tech, which means interfacing with VCs, prominent engineers, designers, salespeople, you name it, right? And on the far side, I run a fiction blog. And I think the through line in all of these spaces is that if you don't speak the language, there's an opportunity for you to become othered or not taken as seriously as you should be. In fashion, this is the concept of what looks you're wearing. So you have to sort of just say the right designers. You have to be in the know about which gala or which fashion event is important. Who is wearing what, who is who. In tech, this is the inside baseball, right? You have to be able to sort of just write good emails. You have to have sort of just good etiquette on Twitter. And if you don't speak the language or are not co-signed by the right people, they will take that opportunity and run, right? And in fiction, just inherently, you have to speak the right language to fit in, right? And I think this is I think these 3 sort of serve as a microcosm of a larger conversation, belonging in spaces by sort of just using the right words, right? Like I said in the emoji example, culture, connotation, and embedded meanings are lost to people who are not in the know. And I feel like this brings me to the product that I want to build, which is an online dictionary that blends, education, but also cultural exploration. And I feel like this resource is different from anything that might exist because it's meant for, true explanation, right? It's, I imagine it would track empirical usage of words and, where possible, highlight things like interesting, cultural history. How this word, for example, sort of just takes different meanings in this space and in this space, right? And, I imagine this could take on the form of a lot of, Reddit/subreddit style of growth, where there is a moderation team for each subculture. And they are in charge of not only being the brains behind the subculture, but also, approving and disproving and kind of just digging deep in the culture, to find out what this really means and where the etymology, etc. was. I really want to make this a sort of just passion project and work really slowly and build a wait list of what culture to unlock next, right? So in my example, it would be fashion, it would be tech, it would be writing, and then we could kind of travel off into cooking. We could travel off into a dictionary for sort of just colloquial Korean or colloquial languages or welding or just the craziest spaces, right? I feel like this argument can be made for any online or offline space where there's a certain set of words that people use to show you that, hey, I am not a pushover or I'm in the know, right? As a concrete example, I feel like I want to illustrate this example of maybe a Japanese fan who loves the NBA, right? As much as they do love the NBA, they can watch the sport. They are not engaged as much as folks who are in the know culturally or linguistically because they don't know what the culture at large is saying because they don't know what the words mean, right? So for example, Twitter or reporters or players themselves sort of use this alien set of vernacular to describe dunks or plays or describe the game. And at face value, it doesn't translate across to foreign fans, right? So I feel like, for this Japanese fan that we're talking about, this culture dictionary for the NBA would not only help them, become more of a fan, because now they know sort of just the culture, the history, the etymology that comes with the words that they're using. It embeds them into, America more, where it's like two-pronged, where they are really just like, they belong more in the culture because they can speak the language, right? And as a final sort of just like statement or summary, I feel like the need to be understood, the need to understand something deeply is universal, right? Everyone would love to be able to sort of just like interface with another person without having to think about like, is my meaning diluted, or like, will they understand this? And I feel like this labor of love, this online dictionary, is a great first step to helping folks mesh deeper online, which, inevitably is going to be a space that grows even more. I think this is really cool. Let me know what you think.